Yo, welcome to Ed Media. Today, we will be looking at the Sonic Generations Remaster. Of course, this remaster released alongside the new game Shadow Generations, but today we will only be looking at the remaster instead of the game alongside it. We will go over the additions and changes the remaster added and if it is the more preferable version of the game. So let's get started. Okay, so first, before we cover the changes, we gotta make a quick review of the game since we've only had a review of one game in this channel. So, how was Sonic Generations? The game was the 20th anniversary game that celebrated the history of the franchise thus far. The main shtick of the game is that we must fix the timeline by going back to old stages and going through it again. And these stages aren't just remakes, these are rebranded, with the level design being adjusted for the boost formula. But the boost gameplay is not the only gameplay offered. We have a second playable character, Classic Sonic, with the classic 2D gameplay. While it is not the exact same, it still has the heart. We have stages from the classic era, the Dreamcast era, and the modern era, though the era isn't so modern now. I guess we will call it the dark era, even though me personally I wouldn't say this era was the dark era, but this era did tarnish the franchise by the public view, so I guess it does still count as the dark era. We have a total of 9 stages, each having 2 acts, and a boss for each era, and a final boss. But, it does feel not enough. These acts are short, and these bosses are easy. While they're fun, it's still short. But, I do like the stage choices. Green Hill was a stage you have to have, but they did great with the other choices like Sky Sanctuary, City Escape, Seaside Hill, Crisis City, and Rooftop Run. The boss choices were great as well, the best choices to bring back being the Death Egg Robot and Perfect Chaos. We also have a rival fight for each era, and these are great as well, since we get to see who was the main rival for each era. I can't emphasize the great level design these games have. It's so fun, offers many ways to traverse, and just so much engagement. Level design is superb. We also have many challenges, there's a lot, so if you want to replay, you can do these missions. They're really cool. These are mini levels with different designs from the stages and has one objective: you must compete, like defeating a certain amount of enemies or playing around with the main gimmick if the stage. These are fun and cool. The story is lackluster though, but the story honestly wasn't the focus, so it's fine. But the controls are kinda not that good. The Sonics feel weird. Classic Sonic is heavy, and while his spin dash is great, his heaviness does make it a bit weird to control. And modern Sonic controls very weirdly, where you really need to learn how to contain him. He can feel heavy as well but also slippery. It's kinda weird. But that's where you need to learn how to control him, and it does get fun to learn and satisfying to master. Overall, the game is a fun time. There's great level design and a great variety of stages to choose from. The game also contains great bosses and lots of additional things to do, but it is short and does not feel like there's enough content, like there's some untapped potential, and it's not the kind of potential where you know it exists but can live without it, but the potential that makes you frustrated wasn't here. The ending of the game is also kinda bad since we have to go through Planet Wisp, the worst level in the game, and a lackluster, weirdly controlled final boss. While the controls do feel weird, learning how to master it makes up for it and adds replayability. Overall, a great love letter to the franchise and a great game, but it is short and has wasted potential. Now that we have made a quick review, let's get onto the remaster and its changes. When Sonic usually does remasters, they try to have as many changes and additional modes as they can. From the Sonic Adventure remasters, to Sonic Colors Ultimate, let's see what Generations offers. One thing though is that usually the remasters have some sort of new title, but this one doesn't, but that's probably because it's in a collection, so let's start it. To start with, one of the more promoted additions is the Chow Rescue. While there are many collectibles in the game, the new collectibles available in the remaster are Chow. Yup. This remaster takes the anniversary excuse seriously and brings back the Chow. Now that I think about it, the Sonic X Shadow Generations really was a blessing and love letter to the 2000 era, since we have Chow here, and Shadow Generations itself literally has a story centered around Shadow and his sister, someone who was very prominent in that era. So yeah, this collection is perfect for 2000 fans. There are 3 hidden in each act, and you must find them. These can actually be well hidden, and they also encourage you to take alternate pathways in the act. So pretty good and harmless addition. Collecting them isn't incentivized though, as your reward for finding one is just a screenshot of it in-game in the collection room. The UI received a new upgrade and takes inspiration from Frontiers. It's the Red Ring UI thought. It is an improvement from the original one because I don't think the original had one small but good change. This one was extremely divided in reception, but the entire script of the game was rewritten with improved dialogue. I'm mixed on it. Sometimes the changes are for the better, since let's be honest, this game did not have good writing, and then at other times I feel like the references were completely useless and felt forced. Also, they changed Amy's character bio to remove her having a crush on Sonic. Really mixed on this one. And due to the rewritten script, some of the cutscenes were changed. These were either characters being visible like Dr. Robotnik after his boss fight being visibly kidnapped, or Amy not jumping over Sonic. They also added dialogue after Sonic's friends are rescued, so it can look a little cursed sometimes. These changes are a little mixed for me. Next is the drop dash that debuted in Sonic Mania. Now that they realized how great this move is, they've added it to every classic game and any game featuring classic Sonic that gets remastered, and this game is no different. Classic Sonic has the drop dash, but instead of it being part of his default moveset like any normal person developing the game would program it as, they instead made it a skill for you to equip. Very strange and honestly annoying because you can't do it in challenges. I would say this is a good change, but they also have it to modern Sonic like in Frontiers, and it's honestly so bad and useless here that I would rather they completely remove it and not even have it as an option, because there is just no way this will help at all. And you might say, well, if it's a skill for classic Sonic, it's the same for modern Sonic, and that means you don't have to have it, it's optional. Well no, this time, it's actually part of his base moveset, you have to have it. And you also might be wondering, then just don't activate it. Well, Sonic feels very heavy in this game, I mentioned that previously. So when he jumps, he falls down quickly, so when I double jump, he falls to the ground very quickly, to the point that I've held the button for 1 second and already accidentally activated the drop dash, causing total havoc and doom and destruction. I have died so many ways to this, like falling into pits and stuff. Why would they integrate this into the base moveset but not for classic Sonic? It's like Sonic Team was wondering how could they make us suffer more. So I'm mixed on this one. Great for classic Sonic but as a skill you have to equip for some reason, but horrible for modern Sonic, but it's part of his default moveset that it hinders gameplay. The rest of the additions are small additions that don't deserve a section, so I'm just gonna go over the rest in a lightning round. The pre-order bonus for Sonic Generations, which is the Casino Night Pinball, is now available in the base game, no pre-order required. They added 2 control variations. One is the controls from the original game and the other is controls similar to Sonic Frontiers, which in my opinion is the superior option for controls. They added 2 more save slots as opposed to only having a single file in the original Generations, allowing you to have more than one game at a time or easily able to go back to earlier progress. And lastly, the standard for every remaster nowadays for Sonic is the removal of lives. Except this time they actually listened to the fans and made lives optional. So anyone who wants lives can have them, and those who are more comfortable with no lives and following the new direction for Sonic in general is also satisfied. And these aren't changes, but there are retro skins available for each Sonic. Jam Sonic from Sonic Jam as a skin for classic Sonic. And Dreamcast Sonic from Sonic Adventure as a skin for modern Sonic. See, what did I say about this collection being a love letter to the 2000 era? They even have Tyrios in Shadow Generations. 2000 fans are quite literally eating from this. And those are all the changes and additions that are offered in this remaster. It's obvious they didn't go all out on the additions like they did with the Adventure remasters and Colors Ultimate, but there's still plenty of welcome and great changes along with cool additions. Some people didn't like the additions in Colors Ultimate because it felt too much and unnecessary, and that they were lackluster, so I guess they really did hear that feedback and didn't go all out changing the game too much. I do wish we had a new mode though, like Rival Rush in Colors Ultimate, but it's not something I need. So yeah, these changes aren't a lot like in Colors Ultimate, but it's good enough for me. The only major change is the rewritten script, but that one is extremely divided, so really only your opinion matters. Is this remaster the definite edition for Sonic Generations? Well, to be honest, there isn't really many changes that make this answer definitive, so I think the main factor in this would be your preference in the writing. While yes, Generations had a few gameplay changes, they're either completely unnecessary collectibles, or a move that is a nice bonus for one, and horrible for another. The only major change is the revamped cutscenes and the writing. If you prefer the life wacky and cringe writing, the original is definitive for you. If you prefer the less cringe writing in exchange for some references and more standard writing, then this remaster is for you. If you want to take anything offered to in this game no matter how useless and unnecessary it is, then this remaster is for you. I think the remaster has some glitches though, but they're nothing too crazy, and are not frequent at all. Me personally, my definitive version is the remaster because I cannot stand the 2010 writing and I always wanted classic Sonic to have the drop dash. I didn't want modern Sonic to have it though. Seriously, Sonic Team, why is his drop dash mandatory? It's so useless and hinders gameplay. But I do like the additions like the Chao Rescue, just really like Chao, and it reminds me of collecting the Coco from Frontiers. It's fun to search the levels for Chao. And also, the remaster does come with Shadow Generations, so maybe this is the definitive edition after all. I tried talking about this remaster as separate from Shadow Generations as possible, which is why I barely mentioned it, so I could take a neutral stance on deciding which edition is the definitive and best edition, but I just realized Shadow Generations can't be bought separately from this remaster, so you kinda have to get this remaster, and this kinda makes this remaster the definitive version. So yeah. Shadow Generations was also the reason the remaster didn't have a lot of changes, so that's why I'm not too mad about Sonic Generations having little additions. Though I do kinda wish it got the Colors Ultimate treatment with as many additions as possible but just without the glitches, but it's fine because Shadow Generations is here. So that's really it for this video. Overall, this remaster was small but great. Retained the greatness from the original unlike another remaster, so that's all we really need. Though Shadow Generations does make this remaster the definitive version. But still, it was nice to see the additions Sonic Team added to Generations, since they always try to change and add some bonuses in remasters, really nice of them. So, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe por favor. Goodbye.